Hi everyone, it's Miss B. I want you to try this Google 3D animal activity. So go to Google, type in lion just to try it out, and at the bottom of the screen you'll see a 3D button. Press that button and the animal will pop up in your room. It is absolutely amazing. The animals are fully animated as well. These are just still photographs that I took. So I have an alligator in my kitchen and I have a penguin in my fridge. You could have fun with this. You could do a really fun photography project, or stay tuned and learn how to do a grid drawing. It's up to you. This is the current list of animals that you can transform into 3D. So choose an animal and click the 3D button and it will appear on your screen. You can shrink it, you can make it bigger. It's really good fun. I had a tiger at my door today. This is the image that I took a screenshot of and decided to use this as a basis for my grid drawing, which I'm going to show you in a moment. I transformed it into black and white because I'll be working in pencil today, and cropped it as well. So you can put the grid on yourself. Just make sure you've got the same amount of squares on your image as you will have on your piece of paper that you're using. Alternatively, use an app. I use this one. Makes it really easy, and you can even print off your grid ready to draw on if you prefer to do so. This is the work that I'm doing at the moment, and you can see that I actually have the diagonals as well on my grids because my work's very fine detail. So have a go, stay tuned and let me know how you get on. So let's get going with the grid method here. I've got my page all gridded up, the squares corresponding to those on the image that I am using. I'm going to just show you how to get started with the grid method. The beauty of this method is that if there's a picture that you really want to draw but you're a bit nervous of it, or it's a very detailed picture and you want to get it accurate, this is a really useful method to learn, and something that if you're interested in art that you'll use a lot as you progress through the school years. So let's have a go and just start sketching out the basic outline of this tiger. I'm using a 2B pencil today to do this, so let's have a go. Remember when you're sketching not to hold the pencil too tightly. It's not the same as when you're writing, for example. You want to have a really relaxed hand, and you work a lot from the wrist, so you can really rest your hand onto the table that you're working from and just relax into it. And remember not to press hard, so if you make any mistakes, it's very easy to rectify. So I'm just going to come around and do the outside here. Any parts that you don't understand, you can always go over and add more detail too. Have a look at so I'm just on this square here, for example, I'm just looking for markers all the time, so I know that this side of the head finishes down on this bottom left corner. So if you just put a little mark there, you'll be able to easily link your lines up. It just helps a little bit. Just keep it all really loose. When you come to do the eyes, you can count down the squares that you're using. So this is really straightforward, this grid, because there's only a few squares on it, so we can just count down 3 and you know that your eye is going to be in that square, and then just put a marker of where the eye comes to, just to help you along your way, and keep those sketch marks really nice and loose. So when you look at it like this, it's hard to believe, isn't it, that you're following the guidelines accurately, but you are, and it will all come together. It's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. Think of it like that. And make markers again. So that marks about there. I always say, if you can get the eyes right, you're halfway there. If you get the eyes wrong, it can ruin your whole drawing, especially when it comes to portraits. So come down to the nose now. I always say to students, look at the negative space, and when I mean negative space, I always look for shapes. So I can see there a lovely curve, so I've got to make sure that I have that curve on my work. So that's the negative space, rather than looking at this dark part here. Look at the negative space and look at that shape and try to recreate that shape. Starting to come together a bit more now. And my markers again. Once you've done the grid method a few times, you just get used to it. As you've seen with I use the grid method, and mine have got the diagonals as well. And it's time consuming gridding up, but it's worth it if you've got a very detailed image that you want to replicate. And again, looks like he's smiling there. Got the negative space here. And another tip is to literally draw what you see. I always remember one of my art teachers saying that to me when I was in secondary school, and I thought, of course I'm drawing what I'm seeing, but actually, are you really? Or is your brain taking over and filling in the gaps? Ask yourself that question. And if you can't see something, then don't draw it. Don't feel tempted to fill in the gaps. Just go with it and it will all come together. So when it comes to adding more shades and tones to your work, you could choose to work in pen or pencil. You may even like to experiment working with biro, the same as me. It's up to you really, whatever you think you're most comfortable with. Give it a go and add some more detail to your work. So I'm just going to jump around as I usually do, filling in little bits here and there that I feel will add a bit more detail to my work. really feathery strokes here, just to give the impression of that fur. And this lovely long diagonal that we've got coming down here starts to give the 3D effect, if you get that correct, as it comes down towards the nose. I'll be really interested to see what animals you choose to do, and hopefully Google will add a few more as popularity and demand grows. I always say that the more time you put into adding detail, the better the drawing will be and the happier you'll be with it. Just keep it nice and loose. Give you an idea where everything goes. Let's just come down here. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. I was just looking there thinking, they're long. Okay. When you start to see it together as well, it gives you the impetus to put even more detail in and really think about how you're going to finish it and what you'd like to use to finish it. Let's just put a few more markings down here. I look for shapes as well because I can see almost a triangle there. So when I'm working, I'll have like a imaginary triangle there as I'm working, just as a guide. I'm always looking for shapes and patterns to help me to make my life a little bit easier. All of these here. They follow a curve as well, which means you follow a curve. And you've got this fur here underneath, and that will really help. So when you're shading, always shade in the direction that's needed. So for the fur, I'm going to shade this way because that's the direction that the fur is laying. I think I'll get this nice swoop in here. So I know that that swoop there, that stripe, lines up pretty much with that one. Notice that I'm holding my pencil much further away from the pointy end, just to loosen up my strokes and give me a bit more freedom. If you're holding your pencil really, really tight, it's going to make your movements more rigid, and we don't want that. We want something nice and loose at this stage. And that meets up around here. They're just markers really, just marking and mapping your drawing. Okay, so I've got to a stage now where it's time to rub out those grid lines. You do not want those showing when you present your final piece of artwork. So make sure now, before you do any more, to remove the grid lines from your work. Complete your work in any medium that you want to work with. And remember guys, send me your work. I'd love to see it. Good luck with it, and I'll post some more videos soon. Bye for now.